Thank you very much, everyone, for joining us today. Please feel free to take your seats at your convenience. It's a very exciting day for our CRE, and it's just great to have so many familiar and faces. So thank you very much, everyone, for joining. CRE Respond. So this is, most of you will have heard about our Centre of Research Excellence. So this funding for this centre came from an NHMRC grant a few years ago now. And we're very fortunate because this was a renewal of our first centre. So the first centre was called CRE Reduce, where the purpose of that CRE was to do studies that could help us identify mechanisms and interventions which could help reduce the emergence of resistance. And then our second CRE, which we're presenting some of the progress of the studies that we've been performing within this centre, is called CRE Respond, where we're responding to the challenges of antimicrobial resistance as it pertains to the healthcare environment. And so very much what we're aiming to present to you today is a series of presentations from experts in their respective fields about all aspects that are relevant to the work that we do. This will transcend, of course, not only developing an understanding of why antimicrobial dosing is important from a perspective of a clinician, but also from someone with lived experience. How, if we do meaningful studies, how we then translate them into clinical practice in other places, and how the value of treatment guidelines for enabling that. And then at the end of the first session in particular, we're going to have a longer presentation about a very important clinical trial success that has come about over the last 6 or 7 years, but was published actually in June this year. And I think showcases the importance of antimicrobial dosing as it relates to the healthcare system. Then throughout the afternoon, we've got a series of presentations on various projects that we've been undertaking to just show you some of the progress that we've been able to make. Now, throughout each of those, I'd like to think that we are a community of individuals that can come together to collaborate. I'd ask that each of you be thinking about what the purpose and value of some of these studies are, and what the next steps are that we as a collective should be taking to try to progress these to a stage whereby they're going to translate to meaningful change in clinical practice. And I hope that through some of the discussions that we have at afternoon tea and in and around the evening session, that we'll have that opportunity to have some of those discussions so that we can think about, as we think towards renewing this CRE, that the angle that we present, the range of studies for that proposal, is something which really meets with the need of the collective community. So before we move into the first of the presentations, I'd just like to give an acknowledgement of country and recognise the traditional custodians of the lands on which we meet. And in Brisbane, depending on which side of the river you are, it's the Turrbal and the Yagara people. And I'd like to pay my respects to elders past and present. I'd also like to reiterate the University of Queensland's commitment to diversity and inclusion, which is something which we place a high value on. We're particularly interested in this in the context of learning about other people's perspectives and ideas on all topics. So in the context of all of the information that's covered today, we're very interested in the views that you have about the implications of the findings of this work, what the next steps should be. And by hearing a nice, diverse range of perspectives, I hope that this means that our next collective decisions that we come to together about where to take that research can be the best possible decisions, because we've thought of and accounted for as many of the relevant considerations as possible.